Hi guys, it's Jimmy Dog and welcome back for another video. I don't know about you guys, but I've always gotten joked around a little bit because I'm a horse girl, right? There's this stereotypical horse girls are crazy thing that follows horse girls. One of the first dates that I had with my boyfriend, we're walking on the beach and he's telling me about how he was shopping with one of his colleagues, and his colleagues had told him that horse girls was crazy and you should stay away from it. He looked me dead in my eyes and said, "Ginny, are you crazy?" I obviously am a little bit taken aback by this. I hadn't ever had somebody just be like, ask me that just straight up. So, you know, I tell him, I don't know. Like, this was a very interesting question because what did he mean by that? Like, what did he mean by crazy? Because maybe by somebody's standards, I am crazy, but I don't know. Like, do crazy people really know if they're crazy? Like, I don't know. It's like I feel like a very big question, and the fact that I'm thinking about it made me feel like I wasn't crazy. But I told him, I was like, I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. So after that, I kind of thought about it for a while. There has always been a joke, especially like with my family members. My brothers will be like, yeah, that's our sister, she's crazy, she rides horses, you know what I mean? And like, not that I'm crazy, but like, oh yeah, horse girls are weird, they're crazy. And for a long time I thought that meant like they like to neigh and like ride around on all fours, which no shame to you if you like to do that. That's not my thing. It's never been my thing. I've kind of thought it was a little crazy, but like, you do you. But the thing is as I've grown older, I've realized that that's not what they're talking about. But then this has led me to ask myself, what are they talking about? So I decided to venture in to Reddit, because how else am I supposed to figure out information if it's not through Reddit? And just look at some crazy posts about horse people. Okay, starting off very strong, post in r/askreddit by, I don't know how to say their name, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. They asked, people who've ever dated crazy horse girls, sorority girls, valley girls, and the like, was the craziest thing they've ever done or the dumbest thing they've ever said. This user goes and said, horse girls. I dated one who said, my mother, my father, shoot, anyone would be better to lose than my precious gator, her horse's name. I also noticed something about horse girls. They all seem to be short or shorter, with really long hair and no significant chest. I also noted a lack of home cleaning. First off, okay, I don't know why this is considered crazy. Like, people say that about their dogs all the time. They would rather have their dogs than people. But as soon as, oh my gosh, it's a horse, like, it gets crazy? What? Okay, it is a little crazy, maybe, to put an animal over a human. But at the same time, like, those are your best friend. Like, I can kind of get with it. Does that make me crazy? I would obviously choose my family over, sorry, but I don't want to talk like that, but if it came down to it, I would choose my family, because this is getting far too into it. But I did think the last part was funny, because I definitely would be considered having longer hair. You can't tell right now because I have a lot of layers, but I definitely have no significant chest either. But I am actually above average height, coming around about 5'5", and average height is 5'4" for a Caucasian female. So just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. Okay, the next person, which is Nusi218, commented, my best friend is a horse girl. She once threw her phone in a bucket of water to see if it floats. Was genuinely surprised when it didn't, baffled that it just won't work anymore. Your friend has more problems than being a horse girl. Like, that is not due to her anything, well, that's not due to anything like that has to do with horses. She's just stupid. I've dated 2 horse girls. Never again. Gosh, so mean. Now, I'm all for supporting my SIG's other interests and trying to be involved, but I'm not going to spend my time driving back and forth from the barn with your sweaty horse stench imbued. What is that? Imbued?
Imbued.
Boo-boo, covered, riding, booted, F all that, and no, I don't want to feed that freaking thing a carrot. Okay, I don't get this one either. Like, the girls aren't doing anything crazy. All they're doing is going and, like, having fun and doing what they're into. Men will go and get all gross and sweaty from, you know, whether it's dirt biking. I don't know what you're into. Maybe you just want to, like, sit at home and, like, knit or something. But, like, you're gonna get all stinky and dirty, and, like, that's normal. But as soon as a girl does and works and stuff, like, I don't get it. Also, if you're, like, properly cleaning your barn and your stalls and everything, it shouldn't be smelling that bad, unless you're, like, putting the manure somewhere, like, right near the horses. And typically, like, manure doesn't smell that bad. It's usually urine. But I don't know, guys. This person says, F horses, dude. I went to my ex's barn a few times. People there are pretty nice and funny and all that. But she'd take me into the stables to meet the horses, and those things would try to bite me and lick me and do whatever other weird stuff horses like to do to people. Yes. Yes, that's what horses will do. Okay, here's the thing. You're walking into these horses' home, right? You're how would you feel if some random animal, which is probably how they see you, came walking through their home? They're hungry, they want some food, you know, and they're also prey animals, so they're worried that they're gonna get hurt, and you started walking around and trying to, like, touch them and stuff. Yeah, I would be a little freaked out too if somebody was doing that to me. So like, again, like, dogs will bark at you in a kennel and nobody says anything. But as soon as a horse, like, pins its ear and tries to, like, say hi or whatever. And also, I want to say, like, maybe these horses are unhappy. I don't know. Yeah, they're animals. They're not going to be polite humans. Duh. You idiot, said me. The light is green. Her. But I'm not ready to go yet. Just totally dumbfounded. But also, the same girl that said, oh, it dawned on me. That's bad. Never dated a horse girl, but I worked with one many years ago, and she and I became friends. The thing was, she wasn't crazy. She was nice, outgoing, and fun to hang around with. Of all of her horse girl friends, I don't think any of them that I met were ever crazy. I'm not saying crazy ones don't exist, but they're not all crazy. It's not the horses that are making these people crazy. It's just some crazy people that you met and then you just went and associated that because they do these things. That means that they're crazy. But no, it's like just something they're into. My horse girl ex would sometimes get so angry that she would black out, uncontrollably flail her arms and legs for a minute, and then fall unconscious. Other times she'd recognize how crazy she was, which just sent her a weird breakdown where she'd wail about how she'd forever be alone and whatnot. Your girlfriend needs help, or your ex. Did you say? Oh, yeah, it says it was an ex. That's not normal. I've met a lot of horse people in my life. None of them have done that. I do know that horse people can have quite a bit of, like, a temper. I do know that is something that comes with them, kind of like how surfers will have a temper, which feels like kind of like you'd think that's maybe, if you don't know about surfers, like, that feels like uncharacteristic of them. But, like, when a surfer is in the water, they're just psychotic. You know what I mean? And when they're out of the water, yeah, they're, like, high, like, they're chill. But it's kind of like the same with horse people, except, like, when they're on their horse, they're chill, usually, unless they're, like, abusive to their horse. And then as soon as they get off, like, just insane. Like, it just, sometimes some things just make people go insane. But, yeah, never heard of them falling unconscious, and I don't. My experience with horse girls was only once, but I can't help remembering how awful her household hygiene was. It was like every room was a barn stable, and she was totally okay with that. Now, I'm a messy dude, but your bedroom should not smell like horse mess? Oh, I like how I have my drawer just, like, completely open behind me for that. Now, I'm, like, a pretty clean person. When growing up, yeah, my room was messy, but whose wasn't growing up? I'm very type A personality, I'd say, coming up with most things. Like, yeah, some things I'm more type B because I don't need to have schedules planned out and stuff. That's a whole nother topic. Yeah, no, I've not experienced that. I also have boarded at places that like felt like a messy stable, and I've boarded at places that were really nice. And I think that the people that board at those messier staples tend to maybe just have a problem. And it's not about the horses, it's just that they're messy people. And then when they come home, they just might, I don't know, okay? I don't know, okay? Okay, this one was posted on r/Tinder, and it says horse girls are really crazy. And somebody, and it's like a barrel racer, and she said, I'll F you up mentally, physically, and financially. You're gonna be needing God, your mama, and your banker when I'm done with you. That's just funny. Like, that's just like a joke, I think. It's like one of those jokes that's funny until like you realize that it's kind of real, and then it's like not as funny. I don't know, girl. Like, I'm trying to stick up for my horse girls right now because I am one, but like, these are some crazy stories. Been with horse girls before. Neither could ride anything other than their horse, and neither could make any kind of living without their parents' money. Spending 3 times the money to travel to a rodeo to win a whole $100. Yep, load their 10,000 horse into a 60,000 trailer being pulled by a 90,000 one-ton diesel and throw another couple grand in gear in the back. Ha ha. You think it's only a couple grand for the tack that we use? It's a little offensive. I'm just kidding. I'm not really, but it, you know what I mean. Somebody commented, OP, I think that's the horse's profile. I immediately swipe left when I see a horse in a profile. The biggest red flag. True, don't even need to read the oh, okay. Gosh. I mean, maybe it's the money thing. Like, I could see, oh, you can see my Christmas pants. I can see the money thing being a problem. Like, yes, we do spend a lot of money. To be fair, my parents don't fund me at all. I pay for everything. I think this is, look up here. Eyes up here. I don't need to look at those, okay? I'm just trying to figure out why horse girls are considered crazy. And I'm trying to stick up for us, y'all, whatever it is. But these stories, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I don't know how to comment on this. My first girlfriend was a horse girl. 16-year-old me didn't know what I was getting myself into. I should send that to my boyfriend. I don't know if she's a yay or a nay. I would probably just throw my wallet at her and run. Okay, here we go. Here's, oh, why are you looking over there? Thank you. This person says, where did the idea begin that girls who liked horses are crazy? I've heard it a lot, but I don't really know why this is or how it started. Ranger said, it's probably impossible to trace, but easy to identify how it started. The idea basically combines some stereotypes. Horses are expensive. You basically take the stereotypical idea of a bratty, spoiled child and bump it up to the level to being one that actually got a pony. It probably is perpetuated by the idea that because horses are expensive, that if someone gets one, that's a huge investment, so everything turns into that. The girl got a horse, so she's into horses. That means whatever it's time to give her a gift on her birthday or Christmas or some other event, the laziest thing to do is assume she wants horse-themed things, so now you have a girl who has a horse and horse-themed everything. And you meet her and go, what the F? You lost me on the last part. The first part I get. Like, I think that makes sense to be like you can kind of figure out where you go wrong. So first you have somebody who's like a little bit spoiled. They have like a lot of money and a lot of things, and that can kind of lead, not always, but that can kind of lead to them being a little bit crazier because, you know, they just kind of get things and they get whatever they want, and so they're just used to that. But the horse theme things kind of confuse me. Why does that make her crazy? I don't get it. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I never really liked it when people got me horse, like, depends on what it is. My boyfriend got me this necklace, actually. and its little horse. And I like it a lot. And I like some things that people have given me that are horse related. But a lot of the times it's kind of like, okay, so there's a unicorn on it. That doesn't mean I like the unicorn helmet just because I like to ride horses. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I feel like a lot of times people get you unicorn stuff when you're into horses, which, no. No. I grew up in the Midwest in a sort of country area. I can give some examples from personal experience. Every girl that made sure you know she had a horse would also often wear cowboy boots to school, have multiple photos of their horse in their locker, and would only be able to relate to other girls with horses because that's all they were capable of talking about. I agree a little bit. I have a lot of horse friends. Yes, it's so much fun to have horse friends. All of my best friends do not ride horses. They used to. I used to only be best friends with girls who rode horses because that's how I met them, was through the barn, and I'm homeschooled, so it's like that's kind of just how I met people back then. Horses are going to take up so much time and so much money, so they're kind of like a child. And I know people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but like it's so much time and so much effort. Like they do kind of pop out as your personality. Like I spend hours at the barn and I work my job to pay for my horse. I have spent most of my life trying to get my horse. And I think it's so insane that people like say like, oh, horse girls are so like, they're talking about this and that. Like that seems a little weird because like men get to go talk about football in sports and nobody's like, why are men just, they're crazy. Like they can only be friends with people who like sports. When that's actually more true than girls only being able to be friends with horse girls. Yeah, moving on, maybe it makes more sense. They weren't typically crafty/into fine arts, but every single one I knew exclusively due to horses in class and had horse drawings they made in their lockers as well. I like to paint horses. I do. I like to draw horses. That's the only thing I can draw is a horse. Maybe he's onto something there, but I don't understand how that makes you crazy. They're like the crazy cat lady of middle/high school. Does this person not know there's horse girls who are not in high school? Like, I don't feel like this person is very educated on horse run. I also had a classmate bring a horse placenta in a plastic grocery bag into her 7th grade science class. She even had it on the bus on her way to school. Okay, that's a 7th grader. Okay, she probably regretted that later, but also that's kind of cool. Why didn't you want to look at it? That's weird of you. Like, experience new things. Roger2504 said, to add to this, horses also cost a lot of money, food, shelter, training, land, etc. So it tends to become a very large part of the owner's life, more so than most other hobbies, often leading to this behavior. That makes sense. I get that. Horses are crazy. You have to be at least a little crazy to own one. Pay for one, work around one, care for one, ride one, etc. 1,000-pound unpredictable animals with the brains of toddlers. Heck, even dealing with the people that enjoy horses is crazy. Everyone cares for them differently, and all other opinions are wrong. Yeah, that kind of hit the nail on the head with a hammer. Kind of hit the tooth on... Kind of hit the nail... You hit the nail on the head with that one. Where did tooth come from? When you go to a barn, typically, yes, every training method you use that you've learned since you were 5 years old at the barn that you went to and you rode for 10 years at, now all of those are wrong. No, there's not one right thing. I don't care how you were trained. You're all wrong. This person's slightly different technique is the only way to do it. That's kind of what you get told, and it's not true, and you should really learn. My mom always says, chew the meat, spit out the bones. So you really shouldn't do that. I try not to do that. But, I mean, yes, I guess that does happen. But that's how it is in, like, a lot of areas. I don't think it began anywhere. It's not really a meme or anything. It's just reality. Much like the common crazy cat lady. It's not some idea that has begun somewhere. It's, like, a universal truth. There are crazy cat ladies and crazy horse girls. Why is everybody comparing me to a cat lady? Also, what's wrong with cat ladies? The other thing she talks about in the bottom part, she says, horse barns are hugely political, and there is a fair amount of backstabbing and deals behind people's back. I need some water. This has been intense for me. I can't even see anymore. I'm tired. I've been filming for like an hour now. This is gonna be a pretty short video too. I can feel it. Let me just drink some electrolytes. My first horse's name was Royal Red, named after Secretariat because he was actually related to Secretariat. This was the first horse that I'd ever owned. And I actually owned him for about a week. And I technically really didn't even actually own him. Okay, so he was given to me by somebody. My trainer didn't want him, and I said, let's get him, let's bring him on a trial basis. And then if I like him, I'll keep him. If not, we'll give him back because he was kind of insane was the only problem. He was an off-the-track thoroughbred. He was beautifully built. He was really nice. I thought he was going to be just such a fun horse. He was broke to ride, but he definitely had so many problems. And I get him, I work him a little bit, and he turns up lame. So I'm like, I'm not going to work him tomorrow. So I don't. I see him, then I go home soon after. Then the next day I come and I go to his stall and his stall door is open. I walk inside, no horse to be found. I'm freaking out. I'm looking through all of the stalls, everything. I cannot find this horse. I go up to my trainer and I go, oh my gosh, Royal's gone. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. Like, I love this horse. At this point, I had also told my trainer, yes, I want to buy him. This has been like a weekend. And I just wanted him to pass a vet check because he had gone lame. But it was just, I think, from being worked quite a bit. Because I wanted to, like, ride him, make sure he was safe and stuff. And he didn't have a lot of muscle because he hadn't been worked in a long time. So that's what I was thinking. But I just wanted him to get checked by the vet. And then I was going to buy him. Well, just technically sign stuff, whatever, because he was going to be free. My trainer tells me the owner just decided they wanted him back, right? They just came over, they took him, and they wanted him back. I am devastated. I go home, I cry my eyes out. My trainer, oddly, is like, I'll pay for you to go to your next show. Like, let me pay that for you. She wanted to pay for my entry fees on the horse that I was leasing. And I was like, this is so weird. But whatever, she pays for my entry fees. I ride the horse. I placed second overall in my division. Just need to let that in there. Whatever. My trainer gets completely blackout drunk and tells me she sold my horse for $300. She bought the horse from the person and resold him for $300 to the first person she could. Dirty little scumbag, actually. I know him. And yeah, so she sold him to him. And at that point, I tried to contact him, and he sold him for a couple $1,000 to a ranch. And I could not get the horse back. I couldn't get the details of the people from the ranch. So that was the last time I saw that horse. Couldn't track him back down. It was a mess. And coming to find out, she got that money for drugs. So yeah, if you want more story times, if any of you are interested, I actually have so many crazy story times from the life I've lived as a horse girl, I guess, which is a little crazy. But I think overall, what I have learned today is that yes, horse girls are crazy, but who isn't? When you put that much time and effort and money into something, yes, you're gonna be a little crazy. And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe people just need to be a little bit more passionate. I think the one that I'm going to leave you guys with today is by Harvey Fierstein. It is, accept no one's definition of your life, define yourself. I love you guys. Make sure to tune into the next video. I'll see you next time.